Welcome to all for today's session on course Java Programming for Beginners. In this session, we are going to discuss the topic multithreading in Java programming language. In this topic, we are going to discuss the subtopics like multithreading and thread introduction, creating threads in Java programming language, then thread lifecycle, then thread priority. Here we start with the first topic, multithreading introduction. Multithreading is one of the feature provided by a Java programming language, which is not supported by C or C++ programming language. When we write a program in C or C++ programming language, that program is a single-threaded programming language. That program is a single-threaded program. Means here, whatever program is written inside the C or C++ programming language, that program will execute the statement sequentially one after another. During the execution of the certain statement, if certain kind of resources are required, and if that resources are not available to complete the execution of that statement, in that case, the processor has to wait for the allocation of the resources. Means the execution of the program is get stopped for due to the unavailability of resources, and the processor goes into the ideal state. Whereas in multithreading approach, the program is divided into a number of subprograms or subparts, and each subprograms or each subparts are called as threads. Here in multithread programming environment, the multiple parts or more than one parts are called as the parts of programs or the subprograms are called as threads. In multi-threading environment, the number of threads of the programs are in execution state in parallel over a single processor. During the execution of one subprogram, if that subprogram requires certain resources to complete its execution, in that case, the processor does not wait for the allocation of the resources. The processor will transfer its execution control towards the another thread to start its execution. And once the execution of that thread is over, then the processor transfer its execution control towards a previous thread to complete its execution. Means that in multi-threaded environment, the processor does not goes into the ideal state. Through a multi-threading environment, we can increase the utilization of processor by executing more than one thread concurrently or in parallel over a single processor. Here we can say that multithreading is a specialized form of multitasking. Multitasking is divided in two types. One is process-based and next one is thread-based. In process-based multitasking, two or more programs can run concurrently. For example, you can run a Windows calculator and text editor or notepad at the same time. Whereas in thread-based multitasking, inside a single program, we can run the number of subprograms. A single program can perform two or more than two tasks simultaneously. For example, text editor can print file while the formatting being done. These are the two tasks is performed through a single program. The multithreading enables you to write a very efficient program that make efficient utilization of the processor and minimize the idle time of the processor. The multithreading is important concept is applied in the application where the application want to execute efficiently in terms of the speed. Here, one thread can pause without stopping the other part of your program. Multithreading allows animation loop to sleep for a second between each frame without causing the whole system to pause. Here, due to multi-threading environment, we can pause, or programmer can pause the execution of certain thread explicitly in between. When a thread blocks in a Java program, only single thread that is blocked, it gets paused. All other threads are in running stage. When a single thread is get paused, in that case, no all threads are get paused. Only the part of the program is get paused. The remaining parts are in running stage. The following points we have to discuss regarding the multi-threading. The first point is that a thread can be running, it can be ready to run as soon as it begins its execution. A running thread can be suspended, which temporarily suspend its activity. A suspended thread can be resumed its execution. A thread can be blocked when waiting for the allocation of the resources. Means here, the programmer can pause the execution of the running thread. Programmer can suspend the execution of running thread. Programmer can stop the execution of running threads. At any time, the programmer can terminate or kill the threads. Once a thread is get killed or get stopped, we cannot resume its execution. Here, the life cycle of thread is shown. In the life cycle of thread goes into the number of phases. One is newborn state, next one is the active stage, next one is block stage, and next one is dead state. These are the various stages through which a thread goes in the life cycle. First one is newborn state. Thread goes into the newborn state once the object of thread class is get initialized. Once you initialize the object of thread class, in that case, a thread is get generated, and that stage of the thread is called as newborn stage. Then after newborn stage, a thread goes into the active stage. Once you call a start method of inbuilt thread class, thread goes into a active stage. In active stage, thread either in running stage or in runnable stage. When thread is in runnable stage, when thread is ready to run but not in execution state. Thread is in running stage when it is in execution stage. The thread is get transferred from running stage to a runnable stage by calling a yield method of inbuilt thread class. Then thread goes into a block state. When thread is in block state, means thread is not in execution stage. The execution of thread is get paused. To pause the execution of thread, we have to call any one of the three methods, either suspend, sleep, or wait. When you call the suspend method, the execution of thread is suspended for due to a specific reason. When you call a sleep method, then the execution of thread is suspended for a specific amount of time. And when you call a wait method, the execution of thread is suspended due to certain condition has to meet. Here, resume method and notify method is used to transfer a thread from block state to active state. Here, resume method is used with a suspend method, and notify method is used with a wait method. When a specific condition is satisfied, then through a notify method, it will notify the thread, transfer a thread from block state to active state. Then resume method is used with a suspend method to transfer thread from block state to the active state. The next one is a dead state. Thread goes into a dead state when thread is in newborn state, thread is in active state, or thread is in block state. When you call a stop method of inbuilt thread class, then thread goes into a dead state. Once thread is in dead state, we cannot transfer a thread into an active state. Thread is in dead state means that thread is killed thread or get removed from a memory. We cannot resume its execution by calling any methods. These are various stages or various phases through which a thread goes during its life cycle. The next one is creating a thread. In Java programming language, we can create a thread with the help of two methods. One is by extending a thread class. Second one is by implementing a runnable interface. The first method, by extending a thread class. In this method, we can create a user-defined class or a thread which can extend the inbuilt thread class. In this method, in this thread class, we can override a method. We can override a method of a thread class in which the implementation of thread is written inside a run method. Then next one is implementing a runnable interface. This is a second method for creating a thread. When a programmer wants to create a thread, in that case, programmer can use the runnable interface also. The runnable interface is used in the case when the programmer wants to create a thread which extends two superclasses or more than one superclasses. In that case, the runnable interface is used, because in Java programming language does not support for the multiple inheritance. So that when the programmer wants to create a thread which extends two classes, in that case, one class is used as an interface, that is a runnable interface, and one is a superclass. In that case, a runnable interface is used. When we create a thread by implementing a runnable interface, in that case, we have to override a method. We have to override a run method of runnable interface inside the class which implement a runnable interface. And here, after that, we are going to discuss the examples, or we can say that a syntax for creating a threads. Here we discuss a syntax about how to create a thread by extending a thread class. For creating a thread by extending a thread class, we have to use the syntax class name extends. You have to specify the name of inbuilt thread class, that is thread. Then inside a thread class, we have to specify or write or override the run method of the thread class. And inside the run method, we can write the implementation of thread. Once you write once you write a implementation of thread class, we have to initialize the object of thread class, and through that object we have to call a start method of inbuilt thread class. Once you initialize the object of thread class, through that object we can call a start method of inbuilt thread class. Once you initialize the object of inbuilt thread class, then a new thread is get generated, or you can say that thread is get transferred into newborn state. And once you call a start method of inbuilt thread class, then a thread is get transferred into an active state. That thread is either in runnable state or in running state. In runnable state, thread is ready for execution but not in execution state, whereas in running state, thread is in execution state. Then next one is extend implementing. Here next one is example of extending a thread class. Here one thread class is defined, that is my thread, which extend a inbuilt thread class, and inside a my thread class we are writing a implementation of run method. Okay, and after that inside a main method we are declaring the object of thread class. Once the object of thread class is initialized, means a thread is generated, and through the object of thread class we are calling a start method. Once a start method is get executed, a thread is goes into an active state, and it will start the execution. And here run method of thread class is get called automatically once the execution of thread is started. No need to call it explicitly through the object of thread class. Then next method is implementing a runnable interface. This is the second method of creating a thread in a Java programming language. Here we are going to discuss the second method for creating a thread by implementing a runnable interface. Here we have to define a class my thread which implement a runnable interface, and inside a my thread class we are going to override a run method of runnable interface. Inside the run method we are going to write the body of thread, and once the implementation of my thread class is over, then we have to create the object of my thread class, and after that we have to pass this object as argument. We have to pass the object of my thread class as argument to the constructor of inbuilt thread class to initialize the object of inbuilt thread class, and through the object of inbuilt thread class we can call a start method to transfer a thread from newborn state to active state. Once a start method is get called, and once a start method is get called, a thread is get transferred into active state. In active state, a thread is either in runnable state or in running state. Okay, when thread is goes into the running state, it will call or it will start the execution of run method. No need to call the run method explicitly. It is get called automatically when the execution of my thread is started. Here the example of runnable interface is shown here. Class my thread implements runnable, and inside a my thread class we are overriding a run method in which implementation of my thread is written, and inside the main method First, we are creating the object of my thread class. Then we are passing the object of my thread class as argument to the constructor of thread class. Constructor of the thread class, inbuilt thread class. Once the object of inbuilt thread class is initialized, okay, then we can call a start method to transfer thread into a active state. Here, no need to call the run method explicitly. It is called automatically when the execution of thread is get started. Here we are going to discuss about the example how to create the more than one threads. Here class A, class B. These are the two threads are here created by extending a inbuilt thread class. And inside these two threads, we are writing the implementation of run method, or we are overriding the run method of a thread class. And here class C is also one thread which extends an inbuilt thread class. In that also we are overriding the implementation of run method. And inside the main method class, we are writing a statement new A, opening closing bracket, start. Okay, it will generate a new thread and transfer that thread into active state. Okay, these three statements will create a thread, will generate a thread like A, B, C, and transfer that thread into a active stage. Okay, and the execution of thread will get started. Then after that, we are going to discuss a thread class methods. During the life cycle of thread class, we have to call a certain methods like start, stop, suspend, resume, sleep. We have discussed in the life cycle in detail. Then get name is used to obtain a thread name. Get priority is used to obtain the priority of thread. Is allowed determine if thread is still running. Wait method is used to wait for a thread to terminate, and run method is used as an entry point for the execution of a thread. Then here we discuss a thread states in detail as a part of life cycle, so that here no need to discuss. Then after that, here we are going to discuss the different methods of thread class. Okay, here we are going to discuss three methods of thread class. One is yield, next one is stop, and next one is sleep. Here, when thread is in running state, and if you want to transfer a thread from running state to a runnable state, in that case you have to call a yield method. Here, when a thread start its execution, okay, when the value of I equals to 1, in that case we have to call a yield method. Once a yield method is get called, then thread is get transferred from running state to runnable state. Here in thread B, okay, here when the value of j equals to 2, then we have to terminate the execution of a thread by calling a stop method. Then next one, a thread C. In thread C, if the value of k equals to 2, then you have to transfer thread into block state, okay, for specific amount of time by calling a sleep method, in which you have to specify the number of milliseconds for which we are going to transfer a thread into a block state. These three methods we have discussed here: yield, stop, and sleep. The next one is thread priorities. Here, the thread priority is also very important. You have to manage the execution of thread in a program, in a Java program. If the programmer want to execute a specific thread as a first thread, in that case, the programmer has to set the maximum priority for such thread. If the programmer want to execute a specific thread at last, then programmer has to set the low priority. And if programmer want to execute a thread as a normal priority, then they have to set a normal priority for a thread. Here we have to set the three priorities for the thread. One is maximum priority, next one is a normal priority, and next one is a low priority. The integer value for maximum priority is 10, normal priority is 5, and minimum priority is 1. Here, to set the priority, we have to call a set priority method of inbuilt thread class. For that method, you have to pass the integer number or a string constant as argument, okay, to set the priority, either minimum priority, maximum priority, or the average priority or normal priority. Here the example of this example shows how to set the priority. Once a thread is get born, then we can set the priority by calling a set priority method of inbuilt thread class, thread c dot set priority, thread dot max priority, then thread b dot set priority, thread a dot get priority plus 1, then thread a dot set priority, thread dot minimum priority. Okay, through this three statement, we can set the priority to the thread, so that as per the priority, threads are get executed inside a program. In today's session, we have discussed about the basic concept of multithreading, then steps or methods for creating a thread. Then we have discussed the examples how to create a thread by extending inbuilt thread class, implementing a runnable interface. Then after that, we have discussed the life cycle of a thread class or thread. Then after that, we have discussed about the priority of the thread. So that in this session, we will stop here. Thank you.